Accidental Marketer and partners at Impact Planning Group. It's a strategic consulting group that helps companies, especially the B2B, develop the differentiated strategies and their skills. So also, John Taberzi is our tech guru. If you have any issues, you can send him a chat, or you can raise your hand on the controls on your webinar. So the purpose of this quick webinar is to share some of our insights that we have about what we see here as the B2B strategy revolution. Just as there's an industrial revolution, we're starting to see firsthand that there's a strategy revolution brewing. And we believe it's going to have a profound impact on the way that accidental marketers are able to work in the future. So we're excited about this. Is it relevant? More than ever. What we're finding as we work with you and across the world, we're hearing the same quote. It says, I went into marketing, I wanted to be strategic, but I'm getting pulled in all these different directions. And the implication of that really is that kind of being demoted down to a sales assistant. So this frustration, we think, really does set the tone for what's happening. Tom, can you take us now through what is this strategy revolution?
Yeah, Mary talked about the frustrations that marketers face in trying to find the time to be strategic. But we also think that there has been this perception that what it costs to be strategic, and specifically what it costs to gather what we think is the fuel of being strategic, which is market insights and market research, has historically been thought of as cost prohibitive, especially by B2Bs. And what this has caused is that many B2Bs are relying solely on their sales force for customer insights. And we know this can be dangerous and anecdotal. But the good news is that technology is about to change all of this very significantly, and we think very quickly. And so over the next couple of minutes, what I'm going to talk about is 3 of these changes that are driven by technology, about the cost of traditional research, new research tools, and new innovative marketing data formats that we think will have a profound impact on the way that the current B2B strategic marketer is going to spend their time in their day. And we think that these changes are extremely positive, and like I said, that they're going to happen pretty quick. So let's talk about change number 1 and the cost of traditional research. They say that technology giveth and technology taketh away. So let's talk first about the bad news, what technology has taken away. Down here on the x-axis, you can see that we have marked the number of competitors in any given industry and how that's changing over time. What technology is kind of taking away is the safety of having a few competitors in an industry. It's lowering the barriers to entry, and we just see over time there's going to be, in all industries of all types, more and more competitors. The value proposition of each competitor is going to look more and more the same, raising the importance of differentiation and looking different and being different in your value proposition. And as I said earlier, the fuel of this is market research, market insight, customer insight. So the good news and what technology giveth, if you will, is that what used to be for B2B's prohibitive cost to do market research is coming down pretty significantly, to the point where we think that today it's cost effective to do research as a B2B marketer where you thought it was too expensive before. We'll talk about that in just a second, giving you some evidence of that. But the even better news is that some new types of technologies, new trends, new tools are going to actually take what we think is becoming cost-effective levels to do market research and making that even routine and part of the B2B marketers' day-to-day life, allowing them to have the time to be more strategic. So let's dig into this pretty specifically and talk about traditional market research and how it's already changed in terms of its cost effectiveness. It used to cost $25,000 at a minimum to get qualitative inputs to any product or service, and typically the means to that was traditional focus groups. But The ability to do online bulletin boards, which are really online focus groups where your customers and prospects can participate from anywhere at any time, as can your moderator, and interact with other participants, is pervasive now. It's costing around, on average, about $10,000 from a historical cost of $25,000 to get the same type of qualitative insights that used to be relegated to these in-person focus groups. So that's a pretty significant decrease from $25,000 down to roughly around $10,000. But even when we talk about quantitative and statistically significant types of surveys, the technology has driven enhancements in how you can field and administer and analyze even these types of quantitative instruments. And what just 5 short years ago used to cost $100,000 costs about a third of that today. So this is evidence that traditional research is coming down in cost. And if you haven't, as a B2B, kind of looked into that, and if you've just written off traditional research as cost prohibitive, you might be pleasantly surprised to look into that and see that you can now afford at least an online bulletin board, which at $10,000 is within the reach of most product managers' budgets these days. But let's look at revolutionary change number 2, because change number 1, of course, was that traditional forms of research are coming down in cost. But what's really exciting and interesting are these new research tools, which are supplementing and supplanting traditional research. Software called web scraping and social media listening tools monitor the sum total of all interaction and all dialogue that's happening online in any forum, any chat room, any rating site about any type of product or service, and can be made to those using these tools available in real time. Now, not only is the real-time part of that value proposition exciting for these kinds of tools, but these tools also solve what has been some of the problems that are inherent with traditional research tools. See, when you use traditional research tools like focus groups or quantitative surveys, typically you have to incentivize participants to participate. And usually there's this worry that when you incentivize participants that they're going to be biased and tell you good things that may not necessarily be true. The beautiful thing about web scraping social media listening tools is they require no incentives, and they allow you to see the unvarnished truth of what's being said about your product and and competitive products in all of these different online and electric forums. Now, if you're a B2B organization, a B2B marketer, your legitimate question might be, okay, that's fine, those sound really cool, but is there really enough dialogue in these types of forums going on about my heavy industrial product to make the investment in these software tools worth it? And the answer is, surprisingly, that more and more, the answer to that question is yes, there is enough dialogue going on about your product and services. Maybe not yet today, maybe yes, but it's actually rapidly changing. And the reason is that it's rapidly changing is because of the changeover in the profile of who's buying B2B products. Google estimates that half of all B2B buyers are under the age of 35. Why is this significant? Well, of course, the millennials are much more likely than their older predecessors to talk about research and dialogue about products of all types in online and electronic forums. So more and more, even if there's not this significant critical mass today that is talking about your types of products in online forums that are mineable by web scraping and social media listening, it is going to happen soon and pretty rapidly over the next couple of years. We believe that profoundly. But you don't have to take our word from it. Aditya Guwalawala is our partner and founder and CEO of Maven Magnet, which is a web scraping and social media listening software solution. We asked Aditya what was going on in the B2B world, or B2B discussions happening in enough quantity online to make his types of tools effective. And he said that a significant change just in the last couple of years has been that B2B buyers are conducting up to 75% of their research about B2B products online. And they're participating in volume in these forums, community chat rooms, reviews, and rating sites. So in industries of all types, there's more and more of this online dialogue happening, making these new research tools useful. In fact, 30% of Aditya's current clients at Mavent Magnet are in B2B industries like industrial roofing, green energy, and this line of participation, his percentage of clients in the B2B world, is increasing significantly. So you've got the lower cost of traditional research, putting it in reach of the B2B marketer, hopefully allowing them to at least reduce the cost of being more strategic, as well as these new tools of social media listening, web scraping software. But still there's this discussion of how do I find the time to be more strategic? Because a lot of clients feel like even if they do begin to start gathering data through traditional or new research methods, that they're just going to be stuck with a lot of time kind of making sense of the research, putting it all together. Maybe they even think they have to hire an analyst to have it all make sense before they can really get to the point where they can piece things together and understand their strategic choices. But the good news here is that new innovative marketing data format is changing this equation as well. Companies are realizing that if they want to help marketers, that they have to turn data into insight, and insight into information, and specifically strategic options. Companies like IBM are doing this with their Watson offering. They're talking about getting market insights without the help of data scientists. And also our own company, and Mary's going to talk in a minute about our product called the Differentiation Index, but our own company has for years in workshops been efficiently getting the data that sort of resides in the heads of our workshop participants and using our tools and frameworks to create pretty quickly, in a matter of a day or so, the strategic options, articulating the strategic options that are available. By taking those types of tools and frameworks and turning them into algorithms that sit on top of the market research that's becoming more cost effective to utilize, you can quickly get to the point as a strategic marketer where you are focusing on choosing strategic options rather than taking the time to kind of piece together all kinds of different market research. So together, those three changes, with the cost of traditional research coming down, as well as new technology tools reducing the cost of getting marketing data, and these innovative new data formats where you can quickly go from disparate data to knowing what your research options are, it's going to significantly change the way that the strategic marketer, the product marketer, spends their day. They're going to go from being really frustrated with having and finding the time to be strategic to being able to, in real time, have cost-effective research that tells them what their segmentation, targeting, positioning, and pricing options are. And so they're going to spend, at first, what little strategic time that they have being able to focus on, well, what are my options in this market, rather than just trying to understand the market and then determining what their options are. But what they're also going to be able to do is, because they're going to be able to have these significant tools, they're going to have more success. And what we predict that companies are going to do is, with this success and with the ability to efficiently get into the hands of the marketer this kind of information, we think companies are going to assign even more product responsibility to the individual marketer. Now, today, that might sound overwhelming to you, but when companies see how powerful it can be to spend time being strategic rather than just having their marketers be sales assistants. They are going to create more space so that you can manage more products as a B2B product marketer. And we think that since most marketers that we talk to got into marketing to be strategic, we think this is going to be more fun and more satisfying for the individual marketer. So that's how the strategy revolution, we think, is going to take place. We think it's going to be great news for marketers who are currently frustrated with the time that they have to be strategic. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Mary, who's going to talk about the steps and the resources that you can leverage to hopefully get in this game before your competition does and move faster than they do in getting the insights you need to differentiate. Mary?
Yeah, thanks. Even in these early stages, we're finding that there's some real practical tips that you can take now. And I think you touched on some of them, Tom, but let's go through these quickly. You had mentioned that the traditional research, the cost is coming down, and actually even technology within some of that traditional is going up. So it's a great place to go first and see if there's something that will help allow you to get more insights and differentiate. The second one is more around the fact that Tom said that there's already B2B conversations going on online, even in industries you wouldn't normally think of. So, and that's going to just continue. So you may be surprised that some conversations are already happening that you can start to mine, and by working through some of the social media companies. And then the consolidation to a single product, just so it's so much easier to make a decision. There are a couple of options. Let's look at those, and I'll explain those. So for the first one, the traditional research, our favorite is that online bulletin boards. We're doing a couple of them a month with our clients, and it's a fast, easy way to get all that information very quickly, where it would have taken longer and more money, as Tom had said before. And virtual advisory boards are also one of our favorites. On the second recommendation is, the web scraping. Maven Magnet is a great option. Here's some other ones that we're aware of, and if you have others, we'd love to hear them. You may want to check these out because they're already working this space. And then the third thing is around the consolidation. Tom mentioned IBM Watson. There's a lot of white papers. There's a lot of things you can learn from some of these leaders already, Equifax. And our differentiation index, as Tom said, we've been doing this for a while, and we're incorporating more of the technology as it's available to us. So let me explain that very quickly. The differentiation index is, if you have worked with us at all, you know that the ability to win or the ability to compete, it's, as Tom says, taking that cold shower. And it is the power that we've been able to harness to allow us to come up with the differentiation index. So you have a lot of information, very easy to access, where you can see in this case, if your score was 61, you're okay, but guess what? All of the other competitors are pretty close to you as well. So that's a lot of great information that then you can say, now what do I need to know? And I can track that over time, of course. And this reflects what should be happening in the market with your market share and your revenue. So if you want to do anything to either improve this or radically change it, what this also provides is, one more, is the things that Tom had mentioned, is in putting together the differentiation index, all the information is there to segment, to find those new opportunities and really be clear about your targeting. Pricing, all of the information is there to look at what it looks like as you make more decisions about better ways to plan to price and communicate. And then even just some big thoughts about what you might do to radically improve your differentiation index. So it's a clean way, and it's fun to see it evolve over these 20 years to where you can do a lot in a very short period of time with not much money. So with that, what we're going to do is we're going to send you a copy of this deck, and we'll send the copy of this recording as well. But let's open up the lines for a couple questions.